Wow.
Whoa.
Oh.
Huh?
Ooh.
Ah.
There
are
a lot
of cars here. What is this, like a Cars Land?
Why, yes. As a matter of fact, it is.
Dang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to historic Seligman, Arizona, which is not only known as the town that refuses to die, but is also the town that provided much of the inspiration for the fictional Radiator Springs. If you had to boil it down to one place, this would be the real-life equivalent of Cars Land. Right there is Angel Delgadillo's barbershop. Angel is famous for being sort of the grandfather of historic Route 66. Angel's family has been part of Seligman since the roads were dirt and the railroad was the main thing that brought visitors to town. He and his brothers grew up here, right along old Route 66. Here's a guy who remembers watching all those Grapes of Wrath people come through town. And he also remembers the day when the brand new interstate opened up nearby and traffic coming through town completely stopped. For 10 long years they waited, but the visitors never came back to Seligman. And then when Angel found out there wasn't even a sign on the interstate for an exit into town, he decided that was the last straw. He called a town meeting, formed the historic Route 66 Association, which I think was the first one of its kind, and then they went to City Hall. Well, actually, they went to, you know, the state capitol, and essentially created the historic Route 66 Association that preserved so much of the old route in Arizona. Then he contacted people in state after state, and now all 8 states along the old Mother Road have similar associations, and they were able to bring their sleepy, almost ghost town back to life. Last night I spent the night in the historic Deluxe Inn. It's one of those very old school auto courts, the kind where there used to be garages in between the rooms. So you check this out, number 9 here, that would be a room, and then here you can see the space where there used to be a garage. You can see in this old historic photograph that it used to be called the Court Deluxe. You can even see the little garage is still there. It was built in 1932 and is the oldest operational hotel in Seligman. And that's saying something, because there are quite a few historic old hotels coming back to life in this town. I woke up really early today, and all morning long I've been watching tour buses roll through Seligman. Just in a few hours I've already seen tour groups from Asia, from Europe, from Australia. Angel's small town Route 66 revolt clearly worked, and if it hadn't been for people like him, a seriously important piece of American history might not have been repopularized. Certainly the movie Cars wouldn't have been made, and Route 66 might have just faded into memory. Just goes to show you that one guy can have a big impact. Not that he did it completely alone, but that's why he's called the guardian angel of the Mother Road. I don't see Angel in there today, but I did notice that they added some of those cardboard cutouts so that even when he's not here, you could still take your picture with him. I've met Angel a few times. Actually, the last time that I was in Seligman, I was right over here at his brother Juan Delgadillo's world-famous snow cap. Before he passed away, Juan Delgadillo was known as the clown of the Mother Road. He loved to make people laugh and keep visitors entertained, and that spirit of fun is still alive and well at the family-owned snow cap. I don't want to spoil all the gags for you, but the last time I went in there, they asked me if I wanted a little straw and then handed me a little bundle of straw. And then I was like, hey! And they were like, exactly. I've been to many restaurants where they serve dead chicken, but this is the only one that brags about it. I almost forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, the last time that I was at the snow cap, I saw Angel coming out of this building here, so I helped him carry a drum set over to the dining area, where we watched Angel and a couple of the other old timers in town put on an impromptu concert. It was a moment that I will never forget as long as I live. No matter how many times I come here, I cannot get enough of Seligman, and I definitely can't get enough of the Snowcap's radical outhouses. Look at those! Not only am I omega inspired by the town's creativity, but there's also a lot of sneaky hidden history in town. Like, look at this old miniature motel tucked away back here. Not to mention a ton of my favorite thing, souvenir shops. It's as American as apple pie, and people from all over love to come and get a slice. By the way, if I sound a little off today, it's partially because I'm still fighting a cold, but also because the allergies. Springtime in Arizona is very beautiful. Just look at this bathtub of flowers here. But it's also windy, and there's a lot of pollen and stuff floating around out here. I feel like it's making me sound weird. Do I sound weird? This is so great. This place has been open since the 1920s. Used to be Seligman Sundries, then later Ted's Fountain. Look at that. He used to serve his famous malts here. I don't know what happened to Ted, but his old soda fountain is now a pretty rad gift shop. Owned by Germans. That's one thing that almost everyone who travels down Route 66 notices. According to many of the guest books on the route, foreign visitors make up almost half. Seriously, anywhere between 30 and 50% of all the traffic on the historic Mother Road. I've noticed a similar trend whenever I go to our national parks.
Most of us seem to take our history and our epic historic landscapes for granted. Whoa!
But we have a lot of really epic things in this country, and the rest of the world notices. Check this out. This little street along the railroad tracks was once the original 1920s Route 66. As a matter of fact, this used to be Angel Delgadillo's father's pool hall. When Route 66 moved up a block, so did the Delgadillos. He opened a different pool hall up there. And the second pool hall is actually where Angel's barbershop is today. Look at that. There's the railroad slowly going by. There's a guy on a motorcycle. Look at peaceful, small town America. I'm telling you guys, there's something special out here. Parents, please take your children on a Route 66 road trip. Maybe you can't do the whole thing, but all of it is worth seeing. All right, several of the tourist buses have moved on, and now so must I. I'm gonna try not to drive too fast as I head out of town, not to the interstate, but to historic old Route 66.
Wow, look at that. Look at the temperature right there. 66 degrees.
This is awesome. We've got 20 miles of crazy two-lane old school Route 66 road ahead of us. Oh, I love northern Arizona. Give me those wide open spaces. This is some of the most beautiful countryside I've ever driven through. And not only is it a pleasure to drive on this old portion of Route 66, but just off the road here is an even older portion of Route 66. Look at this. This would be portions of the original Mother Road. You can see the pavement is all being reclaimed by nature here. Don't forget that Route 66 was improved and moved around a lot between 1926 and 1985 when it was formerly. So even though that car right there is driving on what I would consider old Route 66, there's still a lot of ghost roads that are even older alongside. Man. Just think of the stories this road could tell. All right, next on our journey is a little neglected town called Ash Fork. Ash Fork was once a thriving and booming railroad and then Route 66 town. But first, the main line of the railroad moved away, so their Harvey House and beautiful hotel here went out of business alongside the railroad tracks. And then not one, but two fires burned out the business district. This was once one of those densely packed Old West downtowns, not only along the railroad tracks, but right here along Old 66. And even though a lot of the old houses survive, you can see downtown in the business district, not too many buildings left. But there are some notable exceptions, like this. There's a couple of churches and a small thrift shop. Every small town has to have those, and every small town has to have a barber shop. Dude, check it out. That is awesome. Look at the size of that Cadillac on the roof, and look at the driver. It's hard to see, but if you look closely, you'll notice that the driver is none other than Elvis Presley himself. I knew he was still alive. Oh yeah, and no visit to Ash Fork, Arizona would be complete without a visit to Zettler's store. In the 1930s, the Zettlers opened a bakery here, and it later became Zettler's Market. At one time, it was one of the oldest continually operating businesses on the route, until sadly, it closed down a couple of years ago. But then, unsadly, Kirk and Yvette Slack came from out of nowhere, purchased the old store, and spent a year renovating it. And now, it's open for business again, although it is for sale, which is weird, but still. This is one of the lesser-known gems on the route. Look at this amazing ancient store, restored perfectly to its former glory. Check out this old refrigerator here. Thank goodness this is here, because I was just about to run out of Dr. Pepper. The best part about Zettler's store is that they do have the old Route 66 cheesy souvenirs, tin signs and flags and what have you that they have everywhere. But they also have a ton of actual authentic antiques for sale, most of which have come off or near the Mother Road. I really like the more homemade souvenirs like this ashtray here. But you can also buy an old clock or an old Statue of Liberty clock combination candle holder, old radio, weird giant fish hook. Oh, and check out this old Kodak Instamatic. That's actually so cool. 15 bucks and still in the box. Dude, what better way to experience the old-timey Mother Road, and what better souvenir than something like this creepy baseball boy. I love tourist traps and magnets and keychains just as much as the next guy. Actually, I'm pretty sure I love them much more than your average guy. But I've got to say, the combination of those cheesy souvenirs like this piggy bank here with actual vintage items, that's a combination that can't be beat. Check this out. They play actual vinyl in here. That's amazing! That's Kirk Slack over there that was switching the record. He's a really nice guy. And his equally friendly wife, Yvette, it turns out that she knows my grandma's brother's wife, that they're really close, they grew up together. So my great aunt's pseudo cousin friend thing owns a business on Route 66. And I never knew. Small world. Check this out, some old movie promotional stills there. Ooh, look at this one. From the Wild West. Old license plates, tons of old records. Check it out, even a massive old school turntable. Kirk, the owner of Zettlers, actually has his own YouTube channel, and they've been known to entertain guests with an impromptu jam session in here from time to time. This is just definitely one of the coolest, quirkiest little places you can possibly find on the Mother Road. Check that out, that's awesome. $10. That's a heck of a deal. Plus, holy snap, look at the size of this wrench. Ladies love a guy with a big wrench. You can definitely get something that isn't your average souvenir from in here. I love the fact that there's basically a record store in here, and all these records are super reasonably priced, and that they're playing vinyl records in here, because if there's one thing that Route 66 definitely is, it's rock and roll. Whether that's vinyl records or 8-track tapes. Look at this, 1941, what is it, Silvertone?
Silvertone.
Silvertone stereo.
You can actually record your own records on this thing.
Look at that, and you have the microphone with it too.
Yeah.
What the heck?
But,
and that's for sale. Where else are you gonna find something like that? There's a lot of awesome stuff in here. Oh wow, it works. This place is awesome! See, that is Route 66 for you. I meant to stop in here for 5 minutes, stayed for an hour. It's hard to make good time that way, but the best part of Route 66 is how friendly everyone is. They'll sit and talk with you for hours, which is a really great thing, especially when they can tell you that you missed something awesome on the Mother Road. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. See, this is why you stop and talk to the locals. Kirk let me know that if I doubled back just a little bit, there was a whole abandoned section of Route 66. And look at that sweet red asphalt. Whoa, look at that giant pothole there. Whoa. This is not just a dead end road. This is beyond the dead end. Literally, the sign said dead end before I ever got near this red pavement. I'm not exactly sure how old this portion of highway is, so it's very interesting red pavement, and there's chunks of it just breaking off and going back to nature. Judging from how narrow this is though, making an educated guess, I would guess this is 1920s, 1930s Route 66 here. Keep missing them on camera, but there's little prairie dogs or groundhogs or something out there in the distance. They keep barking at me. Hear that? Well, I guess you can't hear it. There's a lot of wind out here. I don't have time to find out just how far this road goes, but even coming 2 or 3 miles down it is quite a little mini adventure. The landscape is starting to change outside. When you see this many pine trees starting to line the road in Arizona, you know you're almost to the wonderful world of Williams, Arizona. Williams is a Route 66 town unlike any other, and it's still home to more old school motels, classic signage, and Route 66 businesses than you can shake a stick at. Partially because it was the very last town in Arizona bypassed on I-40 and cut off by the interstate, and a little bit more because it's the gateway to the Grand Canyon. Williams, Arizona is full of radical Route 66 stuff. Check this out. This old dime store built in 1912 is one of my favorite stops in town, and now it's called Colors of the West. And look at this. It's old Pappy. He's finally liberated, and he's welcoming us to Williams. Yeah, I reckon this town's as good as any other. Check it out. Old converted service stations, now hip restaurants. It's really cold and windy up here in Arizona today, but I'm glad I'm in Williams because it's warming my heart. I always have to stop in Williams, Arizona to visit Addicted to 66. One of the coolest looking gift shops I've ever seen, and home of the world's largest Route 66 shield. Whoa. Listen to that neon crackle. Look at that. All of this is really cool. Oh, and check out these Burma shave signs. Don't take a curve at 60 per. We hate to lose a customer. Burma shave. And then of course, there's this. Look at the size of that sign. I love the world's largest anything, but the world's largest 66 shield, that's awesome. And if that wasn't enough, if you spend $10 or more, you get to spin the prize wheel. Time to take a spin. I won a lollipop. I can't believe I actually won. I'd like to thank the Academy and all my friends. Oh, good. No, great times. I really, really love Williams, Arizona. It's one of those authentic frontier towns that never really die. Gambling and prostitution were legal in Williams until 1907. You had railroad workers here, loggers, gamblers, pioneers, even Presleys, and of course all those travelers on Route 66. A lot of this I've seen before, but I've never noticed this sign before. It's been a long time since I've been to an opium den. Looks like it's gonna be a little longer because it's closed. Actually, interestingly enough, this building really was built on the site of a former Chinese opium den. Now they serve coffee in there. They just love to help people out with their addictions. My goal today is just to get into a hotel well before the sun goes down and maybe just try to sleep off this cold that I have. But before I do, I have got to check out Pete's Gas Station Museum. This has never been open before when I was in town. I'm pretty excited about this. Oh, check this place out. Check out that car right there. I love cars that look like that. Look at that bullet nose on there. Beautiful. Wow, look at this place. See a lot of historic gas paraphernalia along Route 66, but rarely do you see a collection like this. Check this out. White wall tires. Oh wow, look at it. It's those old hand-cranked oil pumps. You could either fill up an old oil can or one of these really old school clear oil bottles. Wow, look at that old gum machine. 1 cent. And look at that old attendant's uniform. Man, how amazing is all of this? I really like that they have all these old point of sale displays. Check out all those fan belts. Ooh, flashlight batteries. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You might want to let him out. Oh my gosh. How epic is that? The only thing you can't get in there is gas. That reminds me, I keep forgetting to point out whenever we see abandoned gas stations along Route 66 that a lot of them weren't abandoned because they couldn't sell any more gas. A lot of them went out of business during the gas crisis because they couldn't get any gas to sell. And the rest usually went out of business because their big gasoline storage tanks had to be replaced with newer environmental regulations and they simply couldn't foot the bill. Whoa, check this store out. Native America. There are a lot of cool carvings in the front of this trading post. And what's really great about this trading post is that it's Native American owned. There's a lot of places on this highway that sell authentic and some not so authentic Indian merchandise. And it should go without saying that it's always better to purchase from a place that's Native owned. Wow. What a cool store. There's a lot of really great stuff in here, but what I like best are all these little signs that can kind of educate you on what this stuff is and where it comes from and what it actually means. Look at all these amazing drums. Underneath it is a massive, huge drum. I think carved out of the whole section of a tree. This place is amazing. And the people who run it are super, super friendly. Oh, I bought a little pot really similar to this in New Mexico last year. That was at the Acoma Pueblo, a 1,000-year-old Native American city perched on top of a mesa, on top of cliffs. I think one of the best parts about traveling in the Southwest is that you lose a lot of preconceived notions and a lot of the stereotypes that are in your mind from the media. And every so often, you might even learn something. Check out all these models. These are seriously amazing. This one reminds me of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Oh, check it out. There's a whole downtown section on the other side. Wow. Look at all of the detail in this model. This one would get my vote for America's Next Top Model for sure. I really want to go to that theater over there and watch American Graffiti. Maybe with this guy. Hey, I didn't know they had skateboards in the 50s. Marty McFly? I love this town, even when I haven't got much sleep and I have a gnarly head cold. This place is a lot of fun. Keep your chin up, old fella. You gotta hold the roof up with your noggin. We ain't a-holding the roof up. Yeah, we're out here standing guard. Ain't nobody gonna rob this place while we's on duty. Oh man, they all had guns. They were holding so still I barely noticed. In the distance there's the train cars for the Grand Canyon Railroad, a train that takes you all the way up to the Grand Canyon itself. But check this out. I've never seen a railroad bridge like that. This bridge is perfect for me. I'm a little winded, but don't judge me too harshly. I'm still in training. Well, the weather's getting grumpier. I would have liked to have made it farther along down the highway today, but I just kept meeting so many friendly people who wanted to chat, and then of course I had that whole distraction traveling down that abandoned section of original Route 66. If I'm ever gonna make it to Chicago, I suppose I'd better pick up the pace. Then again, there's nothing wrong with going low and slow. Okay, well, I made it to Flagstaff. I got my laptop up here ready to edit. But you know, mostly this cold has randomly taken me down. I think it's just a lack of sleep and a lot of long miles and not very good food and not enough water, but mostly just a lack of sleep. So, for the moment, I've done my duty and I need to hotel and sleep well. Check out the links down below. More adventures are coming very, very soon. Right after this nice little snooze. Make sure you get plenty of rest. Getting enough sleep is important. Just as important as getting your vitamins. Just as important as doing your homework. Rest. 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 I need. Yes. Forever sleep. Go home? Oh, I said that already. Okay. Okay, see, I'm sick. I'm tired. Sick and tired. Sick and tired. Are you still here? Go away!